Welcome everyone. Welcome to Cinema Express. Hi Anvita. Hi Babil. Hi Triptii. Hi
Hello.
Swastika. Right. So Babil, acting, performance, drama. We're going to talk about all that stuff. But first, tell me, how has mainstream Bollywood promotions been treating you? You're doing covers. You're doing
Oh, yeah, question. Nice. No, nice question. Thank you for asking me this question. No,
right,
you, especially being from a family that is so engrossed in art, you
mm,
and your father keeping you very purposefully away from the commercial and the business of cinema, because that in itself, see, business is important, the commerce is important, because without, in this world, in our society, art won't be able to sustain without the commerce, right? But to experience it for the first time, and to have, to understand how to stay truth, like to develop the skill where you're staying truthful but you're also doing the job, you know what I mean?
right, right,
Because that I was really, at the start of it, I was getting a little overwhelmed, because I was like,
mm,
when I have to repeat the questions, I lose the honesty in it. And when I lose the
right,
honesty, I get very agitated with myself, because I feel like I'm not being truthful. And as an artist, you have to,
right,
like, that is the one thing you
right,
pursue. Right?
right,
Yeah,
right,
but you realize that it's a skill and you have to develop it. How to, be truthful, be honest, and still, do your job
right, right,
as
right,
the
right.
uh, commercial propagator of art.
Right. In fact, the only reason I was asking this was because, I remember Irfan sir never was a killjoy. He never gave boring media prepared answers. And I
Yeah,
wonder, doing these interviews one after the other and being
exactly.
asked about his legacy and taking his
Yeah,
legacy
exactly.
forward.
Yes, exactly. Because everyone's like, bro, acting legacy, bro, even humanity. I'm like, bro, interview, commerce legacy भी तो है. वो तो like उसे interviews में भी kill कर देते. अभी मैं boring भी नहीं
Right,
हो सकता. मतलब
right,
क्या करूँ भाई.
right, right. Anvita, Tripti, I'll come to you guys. And, in a very short span, you guys have emerged as the most exciting actor director collaborations that we have. Like almost like a female version of the Scorsese dinero of spooky fairy tales. I want to
Oh,
know.
क्या बात है
Dude,
अच्छा
you're
ये परसेप्शन है बाहर
Right, right.
मार्केट
I want to know what makes you guys click, and what gets you guys together every time.
I think for me it's the love she gives to her actors, and not just actors but everybody who's involved in her films, whether it's whether it's your spot boy, whether it's your lightman, whether it's your makeup artist. She treats everybody with the same amount of respect, and I think that is such a good quality to have, because it is what makes you a good human being, when you can be good to everybody, not just to someone who you have to work with on a day-to-day basis. So I think it's A, that B, I think she deals with her actor with a lot of love and a lot of, she gives us a lot of space to just be ourselves on set, and that allows us room to express ourselves, to be free with our characters, to be free with the story, and we can just freely experiment and just breathe. And I think she makes everybody feel special, and yeah, who wouldn't want to be a part of
Right,
films like Qala and Bulbul and
right.
many more stories that she's going to offer me.
Anvita, what's a phone call like to Tripti? Like, hey Tripti, now we are going to
I'll tell you.
period Bengal. Like,
I'll tell you what it was for Bulbul, because that
ah,
was very special.
hmm,
मैंने audition दे दिया था, and after that, I think for 2 weeks there was no news. Nobody was contacting me, and I was waiting. Like every day, I would wake up and see messages also, because तब तो WhatsApp था ना, you would check WhatsApp, but I used to check my messages also कि कहीं से I should not miss a message from the casting company. And then suddenly one day, I think I was at some event and I was on stage. I had to deliver a speech, and then suddenly I get a call from Anvita Dutt, and I've taken the call on stage, and she just said, "Hello, Bulbul."
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Oh God, thank you for calling me Bulbul.
I
So
see.
that's how it, yeah.
I see. And Swastika, of course, I have to say this. You're one of our biggest Bengali superstars, but your Hindi work has been consistently tremendous. And from Bomkesh Bakshi onwards to Criminal Justice, and you pretty much walk into these walls and almost walk away with it. What got you clicking with the world of Kala?
The world of Qala. I think as an actor, who would not want to be in the world of Anvita Dutt and her magic? It's a dream that you are a part of her stories, and I can very proudly say that I watched Bulbul like first day, first show. Like it just dropped on Netflix and I watched it.
Yeah. Drop.
Dropped. And yeah, it's been fascinating. And seldom you see a film and you're fascinated with every aspect of it. I mean, we watch movies and I belong from the world of cinema, but you feel like sometimes the performances are amazing, sometimes the production design is amazing, sometimes you focus more on the clothes and the jewelry, because as women we do that, and makeup and hair. And I think as an actor, my focus is always on that as well. Like कहीं से कुछ period film में किसी का bob pin या u pin दिख जाए ना, my eyes are like there. And I know I have called up my personal hairdresser so many times saying that अरे किसने देखा नहीं, उस shot में ये net दिख रहा था या कुछ दिख रहा था. So you can't help but you see it. And when I watched Bulbul, I loved everything. I mean, I really can't say that I loved one aspect of the film more. I was in awe of everything that was happening on screen. So when Karnesh had called me saying that, they are making this film and Anvita is directing it, I'm like, I will have to audition for it now, and I am already starting preparations in my head. But I did not need to give an audition. And this is the first film I've done in Bombay or in this industry. It is the first work that I've done, for which I did not need to audition. And it is the most difficult one. So I'm very glad that, the entire team and Anvita especially had that confidence and believed in me so much that she did not really need to test me. She saw it in my eyes.
Your next film should be Aankhein.
Yeah. So yes, I really want to be remembered for my performances, and I really want to leave mark as a performer. And I think it's very important that your audience sees female actors more than just their pretty face and how they look, if they're looking beautiful on screen. Of course, that is a part of the job, but it's a lot more than that. And yeah, I want to do roles that really push my boundaries, and I really need to work hard and harder, and makes me feel very uncomfortable. I need brains need to really work more. So I prefer doing those kind of roles, and I'm very happy that whatever little work I have done here in this industry, each one is very different from the other. So I have always tried to focus on the fact that I don't repeat myself, and also in my industry, in the Bengali film industry, I always I do very less work, because I want to give something new to the audience every time I'm coming on screen. And I'm just glad and grateful that whoever in the universe is making it happen. But it's happening here that, people are seeing me in a different way with every work. Manifest.
Right.
Yeah, these are new words I've learned recently. Them.
Right. I saw the film, and what was very interesting was that between Babil and Triptii's character was that there's no clear hero-villain dynamic as such, or let's say your feelings are very confused. Initially, I was very much with Qala, and then my feelings shifted towards Jagan. Guys, you could talk about cracking this dynamic where there's no clear victim or a clear oppressor, and that was a very interesting emotion throughout the film. And Anvita could also talk about writing these characters and writing that dynamic for them.
Who would you like? Who would you like?
I want
Go ahead.
Me, huh?
kids to speak about it, but yes, Babil, go first.
Done. Okay. No, okay. So, see, what happened was, no, the first day I met Triptii, we just bonded like, how, like brothers and sisters, like on like from the get-go. Like, I met her and she was just like, Aja bhai gedi martna types, and then we would just sit and chat as brothers and sisters. And I think due to that platonic, very friendly dynamic, and in contrast with that dynamic, and in contrast with the world that Anvita was making, I think when those two things fuse together, I think that what you see on screen just organically came.
Right.
That's
Triptii, for you.
I don't think Qala had an issue with Jagan's character. She had an issue with the attention from her mother. And it was never about this person. It was always for her about her mother's love, about her attention. So that's why you won't see her hating on him as much, because hate was never there. There's no space for hate in her life. It's all about love. It's all about her love for her mother, and that's about it. Yeah, and as far as both of us are concerned, I think we clicked from day one. We were, as Babil said, very, very, very close. We were always cracking jokes and disturbing Anvita a lot of the There was this scene where both of us were performing, and I don't know, for some reason we just could not stop laughing. We just could not stop laughing. And
which was this one? Which scene was this?
This scene is not there in the film.
It's not in the film.
Okay.
It's so funny.
Now you know why. Now you know why.
We were standing very close to each other, and both of us had put on weight because we were and like our stomachs were full, huh? So we were so close, standing so close. Every time we would laugh, our stomach would like there was a contact. So we were on that, and Anvita was like, that's the first time I think she yelled at me on set. That not just me, both of us, that everybody is hungry, everybody wants to go for lunch, and what are you two doing? Just concentrate.
It was so difficult to concentrate because we would be looking into each other's eyes and we'd be so close to each other, but we both had a little bit of a tone. So the tone would connect, and as soon as the tone would connect, Triptii and I would start laughing. So our stomachs would go in and out. So the tone would start clapping with each other, and we would just like, "Oh God, there it goes."
Yeah. So the scene is not a thing now. Now you know.
Now you know why.
Right. Anvita, tell me this. Your films are also, more than the narrative as well, but I also enjoy the design and the intricate way that you kind of realize these worlds. I am really curious, over the years, what were the design references that you were picking up for Qala? I'm guessing, 40s, 50s cinema was there, but also the art deco of the time, the costumes. What were the things that you're collecting and, referencing while designing Qala?
So the two time periods that are there in art history, the time periods that are there is the Dutch Golden Age and Art Nouveau. Dutch Golden Age is something that I, because I divided the two worlds into House of Oppression, House of Delirium. So I knew that Dutch Golden Age it felt right for her childhood, the childhood home, the mountain home. And that's what I went with to both Siddharth Devan and Meenal. And of course, I was at base level. I was at Rembrandt and Vermeer. My research. And Siddharth took it one step further, so did Meenal. Meenal then showed me stuff, Still Life with Hazelnuts by Adrian Kurte. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but that's how it's spelled. Phonetically, I'm pronouncing it. And she showed me this painting, and I was like, oh my God. She says, this is Qala's house. So literally, what you feel and the colors that are used are from that one painting. And it has a feeling of oppression. It's really, really, there is something like Rembrandt used, I think, almost 70 shades of black. He was famous for that in his paintings. It was just beautiful. And what Siddharth did was he would light the mother like Rembrandt and light the daughter like Vermeer. So that's what even their color palette was for their clothes also was taken from Rembrandt and Vermeer. So we created all the bakus that Qala is wearing from the colors of what the girls are wearing in Vermeer's paintings.
I see.
So, and the same we did with Urmila. All the colors are from Rembrandt paintings.
I see.
So, but Art Nouveau, however, because when I was talking to Meenal, I said, so it's the House of Delirium, but I don't know where to go with it. I don't know what is it. I mean, I knew I was thinking of German Expressionism. Siddharth had introduced me to that. I was like, that's great for the surreal bits, but I don't. So I said, I know that Art Deco came to Calcutta. So we're also strangely very, very correct in our research. And then we trip on it, right? So I was like, I don't know. And she was like, if it's delirium, it has to be Nouveau. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't even think of it. I said, it didn't come to India. It's only there in the balconies. It's not there. It's in the raw time, because Nouveau was an expensive art form. And she was like, no, we'll just sit. Nouveau has to be her state of mind. So these were the two major art that used. And and of course, the period, the recording studios, all that, we had so much fun finding that detailing. So we also did what we call the Himachal Gothic for the mountain. It's actually Gothic, but then we'd gone for this scout to locations which we never used. We went to places in Himachal, and in Manali we saw this temple. It was like the size of a cottage. I mean, smaller than a cottage, and it was completely made of wood. Okay, the carved wood. There was this heavy, beautiful, dark wood and stone. So Gothic, in any case, in architecture was 1930s, and it was still there because it was Jagir mein mila tha, because the Victorians had brought it, Jacobean and the Victorians had brought in the use of stone and wood in their architecture. And we were like, Himachal Gothic. We'll take elements from Himachal and infuse it into Gothic. So we had a lot of fun. And I have no idea why I'm talking so much about this. I'm sure nobody did.
No, it's fascinating.
But
I love the window. I love Urmila's window, the intro shot that dollies in on Urmila. And there's this window, which is, like almost like, I don't know, the devil's wings, right? Yeah, right.
The bay window, the first shot when she gets the baby.
Yes.
That's a Gothic window. And we took elements of that window from different places, the window from somewhere else, the shape of the window, and those the almost like flying buttresses, which you actually only see outside buildings, but we made a smaller version of that around it. So why? Because all I told Meenal was that I want this moment to look like, you must have seen those famous paintings of Madonna and Child. Okay, so Madonna and she always held him this angle and with a face turned like that, and there would be a halo behind her because she's the mother of God, the prophet, right? And so I said, I need a window behind her. It has to be Madonna and Child's halo. And that's how she created that window, and the way Siddharth created it. And even the clothes, down to what the child is wrapped in, the lace, everything, and what she's wearing is replicating Madonna and Child. Because it's the perfect mother, right? Madonna and Child. The perfect mother and child. And we are about to be introduced to a flawed mother. The moment she became flawed, from perfection to flaw, like this. So we used Madonna and Child because you will subliminally feel that moment. It's almost God-like, ethereal, beautiful, magical. And she becomes this flawed mother in this perfect image.
I'm
On the note,
such a
Swastika,
huge fan of you.
Yeah.
I am such a, you are so good.
And the best part of
He has this expression. I just have known her longer.
That's when I was like,
the best part of these interviews is that you get to know so much about your own film that you did not know before. There's
Right.
there's not so much time to go beyond your.
You were doing like 100% and more of being the story. So that is all that is required of
Get
it.
to
All
know
the time
for all the research and all the homework that has gone behind it.
And then we did the changing of light, which you came to know today, which is when
yeah.
she says he. It says the kid died in utero, and she says he. And we said a cloud should. There are two things which are very minute. No one will come to know. There's actually a very far away raven, call of a raven, and like a cloud passing over. So the light changes from sunlit, it goes dark behind her. So basically the halo diffuses. The halo's gone. She's no longer.
I only remember our DOP telling me, can you rock the chair according to
Yes,
the
focus was going.
My focus was only on my expressions, and that I can't go beyond a point because the focus will go. I did not see light change anything. I'm like, I need to get my measurements right. And
So this thing, because she's holding, and it's a real baby, right? She's holding it, and I'm like, no, Urmila, lift your elbow higher. And she's like, she's like, why? I can just hold, it's nice. I said, no, just higher, because she has no idea that I'm replicating a painting. Because Madonna always held him like this and looked at him. So she had to hold the baby like that. So annoying.
That's filming. Babil, tell me this. Your dad will always be remembered as one of the greatest actors we ever had, but he was also the kind of great actor who would happily show up in a Thank You or a Crazy Four or the Expose or even Roadies for my
Expose.
Right.
No, Expose he did because he was getting paid a shit.
No, but it was a blast.
He
It
got
was a blast.
for 1 day's work, he got paid. Like
Right.
we bought a
But
house.
he was all right. But even then, he had this range. He had this range, and a kind of a non-judgmental attitude towards cinema that he always had, and he would do everything that would come to his way, and it was interesting. Would that also be your approach? Would you be open to all kinds of cinema? I'm guessing because you're a film school guy and you're making a debut like this.
Debut chhod but most definitely, man, one big learning from growing up in this family was how to be aware of where you're defining yourself, because as soon as you define yourself as something, you've absolutely limited yourself. And I am very, very keen on exploring all kinds of cinemas, all kinds of characters, but also with awareness of where my journey in life is. Like, if I know that, see, I can't play this character right now with the journey that I've had and the experience I've had truthfully, then I would like to play it a little later in life. You know what I mean? If I feel like I cannot play the sensitivities of this character truthfully, then I would like to get more experience in life and play them. But absolutely, explorer is the word, man. Definitely. Okay.
What's your most
As
favorite?
long as it's not like Columbus and land up in the wrong continent.
Oh God. Yeah. But one thing, ma'am, even like I was reading this book. Wait, I'll show you. This one, the Anup Singh's book. You know this one, right?
Yeah.
One thing I realized about Baba is like how even he played so many negative characters throughout, but you would always like him, or you would love him. You wouldn't hate him for the character he's playing, because I think he had the ability to bring in the human element to the character, because how with the ferocity that he wouldn't judge the character, with the sternness that he wouldn't judge. There was no judgment about that. And by bringing that human element and that human quality to anybody, then suddenly, you welcome the character. And I that's one thing I really, really want to be able to achieve.
Right.
That even when I play a negative character, I make you fall in love with me because I'm human and that character is human.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Same with the positive character also.
Yeah, exactly. Same.
Right.
Absolutely. And I think that's Swastika has done so well in this film. I think she's really, because you love her at the end. I when I watched it, I loved her at the end of the film. I loved Urmila. Swastika, though everybody loves, but I loved Urmila, and I felt her pain.
Thank you,
And I
Babil.
felt her
I
pain.
don't want people to term her as cruel.
No, I don't think that will, because you feel Urmila's pain. You really do. And I think that's so brilliant, and that's such a great skill set to have as an actor. And I really want to be able to develop that.
On that note, is the Shujit Sarkar film happening? Something was announced some months back,
Yeah,
a year back.
Shujita produced that film, but yeah, I mean, Shujita was very close to the family, and he was a mentor to me after Baba left. And yeah, I don't know if he would appreciate me saying anything, and I really I have great concern for how he feels about me and about what I'm saying, and if I've hurt him in any way. So I don't want to say anything. But he produced a film, and Pooja Kaul had directed it. It's a very art film is such a bad word, but it's a very explorative zone.
And Anvita is just like,
Okay.
Let them announce it. It's an art film.
you only get them young. Like eventually he'll learn this, and that I wouldn't be getting these answers. All right, great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. All the best. All the
Thank
best.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.